You have to be honest with yourself about the life that you want to live. Be honest with yourself about the life you want to live. I know if you're joining these calls and you're continuing to stay consistent, it's probably because there's some things up ahead you want to get to, right? There's probably some things that you haven't achieved yet, possibly some things that you have written down on your vision board or whatever the case is that you want to be able to achieve. And so we're here to continue to push each other and to grow together to help us design that ideal life. But you got to know exactly the life that you're going after, and you got to start to take some responsibility for your life. Those some of the people that you heard in there, again, people that are successful in certain areas, whether it be in business, whether it be in their financial life, whatever the case is. But a lot of these principles, ladies and gentlemen, that you always hear me talk about, these are standard across the board. Whether you want to get better in your health, whether you want to get better in your relationships, whether you want to get better financially, whether you want to get better in your business, whatever it is, these are all similar principles that you have to apply. And one of the things that we got to know is we got to take ownership of our life. You've heard me talk about this before, but it's just something we got to remember. We talk about building business. I think the lady's name is Jasmine. I forget her last name, but Jasmine in there said she believes everybody can start a six-figure business. Everybody has it in their being to actually go build a business. I believe the exact same thing, in all honesty. I tell people this all the time. Business is relatively simple. It's relatively simple. It's sales and marketing, financials and operations. If you learn those things, you create a skill set in those areas, you find a good industry that has a good supply and demand difference, you can build a business. It's just often those aren't the skills that we have. They taught us to go to school, get good grades, get a good job. So when that doesn't necessarily work out, there's a whole different set of skills that we need that we just have to go find. But once we have them and we have the mindset things, the belief in yourself, the belief in what you do, right? Once you have those things, the consistency, like she said, the disciplines, once you add on those things, it's possible to own your life because you can own your life in every area. No one could ever tell you where to be, when to be, because you have disciplines, you have consistencies, you have a skill set, you have a network of people, you have ideas, you have resources. Like you have everything that you need. The job doesn't give you anything that you need once you understand what it takes to add value to people and make money. But all of this comes down to owning and taking responsibility for your life, right? I wrote down this guy's quote that said, what held you back can be the thing that pushes you forward, right? What held you back can be the thing that pushes you forward. A lot of times our limiting beliefs, the things that we think are holding us back in life are actually the things that if we lean into are the things that can get us ahead, that can push us to the next level, right? But we have to be able to face that. We have to be willing to face that. Again, I wrote down having the mindset of belief. Do you believe that you're capable? Do you believe that it's possible? Right? Do you believe that you can go off and do the things you're thinking about? The vision that God gave you in your mind that you're seeing, that you want to come to life, that you want to experience, do you actually believe it's possible that you can achieve that? Sometimes when we talk this money thing and I ask people, how much income do you need to come in to live the life you want to? We don't know, but it's also a part of it that we're scared to say it because we don't know if it's possible. You're scared to say, I want to make $500,000 a year because you don't actually know that it's possible. You might not know anyone that's made 500,000. You might only have made $100,000. So thinking that you can make 500, thinking that you can make $800,000 a year might just be too far off. So you don't even say it. And so we have to now create this mindset of belief, of knowing that if you can see it in your mind's eye, you can hold it with your hands. If you can have a vision for it, if you can see it, you can hold it in your hands, but you got to believe that. It's got to be in every ounce of your being that you believe that you're capable and that it's possible. And never think that you're right, what you lack or the adversities you go through or the things you might not be equipped with are going to be things that hold you back. Again, like the guy said, what holds you back may be the thing that moves you forward. Barbara Corcoran in there talked about she doesn't invest in rich kids, right? Because why? They haven't experienced any adversities. They don't know the value of the dollar. They're not fighting for anything. So Damon John wrote a book called The Power of Broke. The Power of Broke. So some of us think that our financial setbacks are the reason why we can't get to where we want to go, or our lack of financial education or our lack of financial stewardship is the reason why we won't be able to get to where we want to go. It's the exact opposite. Damon John, I recommend read the book, The Power of Broke. Talks about being broke is the superpower. A lot of times we don't understand these things because we don't like to struggle. We don't like to think about struggling. But the fact that you get very low, that you get to a place where your back is against the wall, where it's just you and God, where like you get to the lowest of the lows, that allows you to spring up the highest. It's actually the thing that will allow you to become more successful. I went to school with a lot of middle class people, right? Just middle class, upper middle class. That's the hardest place to be. You've been so comfortable for your whole life that you have no real aspirations to be a billionaire, to change your family's legacy. That's not in their mind because they've been so comfortable. They also have never experienced the bottom. They've never experienced what it's like to not eat or to not be able to pay bills. So they stay mediocre. They stay middle class. And it's one of the hardest places to move from. So if you are experiencing any type of low periods of your life, any right poverty, any financial hardships, you're in a great place. That's how you bounce up. That's how you have the motivation. That's how you have the perseverance to actually experience what's on the mountaintop for you. So you got to know these are little principles. We might be talking about money. It might be talking about you creating more income to own your life, which is true, right? We all need to do that. We all need to do that. We all need to make more money. I know easier said than done, but that's part of the process of you achieving the life you want to. And so once your mind starts getting to the place where you're asking yourself these questions, how do I scale? How do I get into this business? How do I start this? When you start asking yourself the questions, good things start coming. But one thing that stood out that we can, again, cross-reference here in our text was that he said there's no such thing as failure, right? Like he said, there's a difference between failing and failure, right? And I found this in 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class. It says, number 48 says, the great ones are professional failures. The great ones are professional failures, right? Here's what it says. It says, the majority of the differences between amateurs and pros is a subtle separation. It's a slight difference in thinking that makes a big difference in results. I'm going to say that again so we can really understand that. It's a slight difference in thinking that makes a big difference in results. Not talent, not resources, not where your parents grew up, where you grew up, none of that. It's a slight difference in thinking that makes the difference, that makes the big difference in results. The idea of failure is an example of this. Amateurs tend to believe failure is painful and should be avoided in order to maintain a sense of pride and dignity. In an effort to protect their egos, they attempt only things that they know they can do. Champions see failure as a necessary building block of mega success and treat it as a teacher. People labeled as failures are amateurs at failing. Successful people are professional failures who have failed their way to success. Successful people are professional failures who have failed their way to success. The difference is their mental approach. Champions aren't in the business of protecting their egos. They're in the business of learning, growing, and becoming. They see failures as a necessary course adjustments, not always pleasant, yet necessary to gain the wisdom and mental toughness it's going to take to make their vision a reality. While amateurs spend a lot of time focusing on how not to fail, pros are dialed in to doing what it takes to succeed. This problem-solving, execution-based focus creates a greater awareness of more potential solutions. A focus on failure prevention creates an awareness of fear, lack, and poverty. It's all a matter of where the performer places his attention. Again, small, subtle differences in thinking. Small, subtle differences in thinking will create different outcomes. If we believe that failing is a bad thing, that failing is hard, that failing is painful, and we want to protect our egos, we want to go out with a sense of pride and dignity. It's hard to be at the bottom. It's hard to start over and say you don't know something. Why? Because it attacks our pride and our dignity. The older we get, the more we believe we should know things. The more it's hard to look like an amateur, to feel uncomfortable. That's really difficult for a lot of people, not for champions. Champions, we think differently. We know that failing is the way to succeed. Starting at the bottom and trying something that you don't believe or that you don't know if you can actually achieve, it pushes you to grow. It pushes you to get through the things you need to get through in order to get to the life you want to. So these are just necessary course adjustments. That's what it says there. It says champions aren't in the business of protecting their egos. They're in the business of learning, growing, and becoming. If you are in the business of learning, growing, and becoming, then you have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to not do something well. You have to be willing to say, oh, that didn't work. Let me try something different. Oh, that didn't work. Let me try again. That's a part of the process, ladies and gentlemen. It's a part of the game. It's a part of taking responsibility for your life and going after the life that you desire. The life that you're asking for, the vision that you have, the highest, grandest vision of your life does not come by you just staying in the same place and doing exactly what you've been doing for all these years. It causes you to step out of your comfort zone, to identify some of these areas. Do you struggle with any pride or dignity around you, right? Your title or what you've done? Is it hard for you to take a couple steps back to take steps forward? Are you failing on a daily basis? Are you doing something that you're trying that you're failing on a daily basis? You're not doing it in the best way, right? You're learning. Do you have something like that in your life? Right? My daughter just turned 7. She's trying everything and she's learning. That's how she's learning and growing. It's because she's trying a bunch of different things, and some of it she's good at and some of it she's not good at. And she keeps trying to figure it out. And we keep pushing her to figure out what it is that she really likes or wants to do or is good at, but she has to keep trying stuff. That's a message to us as adults. We got to keep trying stuff. You might have started in a career path that isn't getting you to where you want to go financially. It's not taking your family to where you need to be. You don't have the ability to make 20 grand a month at what you're doing. So why not try something new? Why not shift what you've been doing? Why not add on something different? Why not get a new skill set? Why not get around new people? Why not try something? That's how we get to the life that we want. That's how we get to the life that we're trying to design. It's by trying, because then we learn, we grow, we become different people. That's what happens. You start learning new things, and then you start growing. We only grow through the tough times. It's through the adversities. It's through the low moments in your life. You don't grow as much when you're winning. You don't grow as much when you're at the top. This is why, right? It's playoff basketball season, right? Champs are knocked out. It's hard to repeat. Why? Because there's only so much more growth that you're pushing yourself to do when you're at the top. But when you're the last team headed into the playoffs, you're one of the last 8 teams or whatever the case is, you're working a bit harder. You're pushing yourself a bit more. You have more to learn and grow and become as a team, as a player, because you're not at the top. This is the example that we should take into our lives. This is the same thing. You're not where you want to be, but wherever you are, there's an opportunity to fail forward. That's a John Maxwell book, Failing Forward. Right? You continuing to learn and grow and become the man or woman God called you to be, to experience the life that you're asking for. It comes through stuff like this, like being a professional failure, like having the mindset to understand we're not avoiding failure. What does it say here? It says a focus on failure prevention creates an awareness of fear, lack, and poverty. So the more that you try to avoid failure, I can't do this because it might not turn out the way I want to. I can't start that thing because I don't know how it's going to turn out or how people are going to think of it. Or if you're aware of failure, if you're trying to prevent that you don't fail, it'll give you a heightened awareness around fear, around the things that scare you, around the reasons why you can't do something. It'll give you more awareness of lack, of what you don't have, of the things you don't know. That's what'll happen if you're focused on how to avoid failure. So little mental shift that we can all work on, that you can all work on today and over this weekend, is to shift the thought to say, I need to fail forward. I need to do things that I'm trying at that I might not be good at so that I can learn and grow and become better. If I just do the things that I know that I've been doing, I'll get the same results that I've been getting, and I'll experience the same life that I've been experiencing. That's not us. That's not what we're here for. Remember, this message isn't for everybody. I understand it. It's not for everybody. It's for those that want to get to their highest, grandest expression of themselves. You know, there's more inside of you. There's more that the world needs to hear of you. There's more people that you need to impact. There's more that you can give. There's more that you want to experience. My definition of wealth is the ability to fully experience life. Wealth is the ability to fully experience life, whatever that means to you, to fully experience it. Could that mean touching every continent? That could be what you decide is fully experiencing life. Do you get a chance to be in every season? Do you get a chance to experience waters and mountains and right, all types of deserts? Like, what is fully experiencing life to you? And if you want to go fully experience it, you've got to be willing to fail. You've got to be willing to try. You've got to be willing to start at the bottom. You've got to be willing to say, I'm learning and growing and becoming. I'm not focused on preventing failure. I'm not shielding myself away from it because that's going to give me more awareness of fear, more awareness of lack, more awareness of poverty, more awareness of what I don't have. And that's not how we get to the life that we want. This quote up here says, there can be no failure to a man who has not lost his courage, his character, his self-respect, or his self-confidence. He is still a king. Failure means nothing if, right, you're good inside, if you're good mentally, if you're good emotionally and spiritually. These are the things to work on so that you can understand that failure means nothing. It means you're trying. I feel like Denzel Washington had a quote at some point where he talked about people not trying versus people failing. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, it's good to try because that's what allows you to learn and grow. The action step for today says, ask this critical thinking question. Have I been playing it safe to avoid failure? Have you been playing it safe to avoid failure? On a scale from 1 to 7, 7 being the highest, how many risks have you taken in an effort to make your vision a reality? How many times have you laid it on the line? How many times have you said, God, I don't know if this is going to work out, but I know I need you in this one? How many times have you done that? How often are you doing that? I would challenge you and encourage you to do that more often. To become a professional failure, to become someone that is always learning and growing and becoming a different version of themselves. And the only way we can do that is to put ourselves in the fire. It's to put ourselves in a position where we don't know it all, where it's not our skill set, where we're not the best at it. And watch the person you become if that becomes your habit. If you just put yourself in that environment once a month, right? It's a good start, but we need to get to a place where we're getting to that place daily, where daily we're uncomfortable. Daily we're pushing ourselves to grow and learn and to become something different. Daily we're trying something that we're not good at. And it could start real small. For me, it's like art, right? I'm playing around because I'm helping my daughter do a bunch of art stuff, but I suck at art. I've never been artistic and drawing and none of that stuff. I feel like my daughter might have a little niche for it. So now I'm starting to try to play around with painting and stuff, and I'm not good at it at all. But I'm so used to being uncomfortable and keeping myself that it's nothing for me to try something new that I probably wouldn't be good at. I have no problem with that at all. Because how I do one thing is how I choose to do everything. And so, because I've kept myself uncomfortable as an entrepreneur in business, continuing to persevere, I can make myself uncomfortable. I love all you guys. I want you to win. You deserve it. Your families deserve to win. People are counting on you to take this information. People are counting on you to take a hold of this stuff and go apply it in your life so you become better. In 5 years, you don't know this, but your family's going to go through something that they're going to require you to learn and pick up this message so you can be mentally strong enough to know, hey, this failure means nothing. We're going to keep persevere. We're going to keep doing this thing. The vision is still clear. They need you for that. They need you for that. Now is the work. Now is the time to get it done. So go out, enjoy your weekend, do something that scares you, do something that pushes you out of your comfort zone. It's Memorial Day, but we'll be back on Monday. We'll have a Monday message for you. So log in on Monday and we'll continue to go from there. Take care, y'all. Love you guys.